The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages that we cover. This week, we're going to start with Lee Hankins. Lee, from the town of Rush. What's going on in Rush?
Good morning. I want to start with a brief update from our budget workshop. Department heads came and shared their requests and program needs for the next year. Earlier this year, we cut costs in finance, building, maintenance, and security, including reducing my salary by half and returning it to the 2024 levels. These reductions help lower costs for 2026 and will continue to lower costs for 2027, but they are not enough to make our budget sustainable long-term. We will once again need to balance our budget with appropriating a large amount of funds from our unexpended balance. We're a small town and our tax base declined by 0.5%. It is a challenge to meet all of the program demands of growing costs of mandated and expected benefits. Cost of retirement, healthcare, general liability insurance, and utilities continue to rise. While town taxes are a small portion of our total property tax bill in comparison to county and school taxes, every dollar counts for our residents. One sign of financial strain that I have noticed is the increase in tax penalties and interest. We budgeted $10,000 for 2026, but the revenue is more than $38,000, nearly 4 times what was expected. I want to do whatever I can to make our town affordable, and I know the required new measures, growing our tax base. Fortunately, our town has no debt, and our unexpended balance remained well above the state controller's recommendation of 30% of our operating budget. That means we can easily stay below the 2% tax cap for 2027. This is good news, but it is only a stopgap measure, not enough to protect taxpayers long term, and we really need our resources. Funds to support infrastructure improvements, especially flood prevention plans to stop the stormwater flooding, to protect the town hall complex and hamlet. Over the next few weeks, we will follow up on the questions and data presented at the budget workshop to gather up the budget. We will research alternatives to lower healthcare costs and compare our contractual costs with similar towns. The review of data from the past 2 years suggests expenses may have been estimated too high and revenues too low, resulting in an increase in the unexpended balance. We want to strive to be more conservative and accurate this year. We also need to develop a 3 to 5 year plan where we project both changes in revenue and expenses, better plan for retirees, and create a grant development plan based upon county, state, and federal grant opportunities that align with our 2023 comprehensive plan and promote new economic growth and community improvements. At our last board meeting, I imposed a citizen committee to help me in the area of economic development and communications. I was surprised and disappointed when the resolution was voted down 3-2, another first for Rush. I can still go ahead and informally seek community experts to volunteer to help me create a multi-year financial plan focused on economic development and expanding our tax base in alignment with our comprehensive plan, and help identify additional cost improvements, especially in our contractual expenses in the area of technology, legal, infrastructure, insurance, marketing, and communications. It is critical that our budget decisions be guided by facts and values. I have the utmost respect for our town employees and want their compensation to be fair and comparable to other towns our size. At the same time, I want to encourage public safety and protect the interests and needs of residents and taxpayers. Residents are encouraged to be involved in the budget process. At our next board meeting, we will hold a public hearing on a conservation easement for a 100-acre nature park. The easement will be recorded with a deed to protect the land forever. The easement will protect this land, the old growth forest, wildlife habitat, and all the work volunteers are contributing to developing this riverfront park for current and future residents. All are encouraged to participate in the hearing. The agenda will also include a resolution for an updated stewardship agreement with the Rush Recreation and Park Association. Updates are needed to support grant development and protect the volunteer work of the association and their valuable contributions to our town. As summer starts to quickly slip away, I encourage everyone to visit our 100-acre park. I will stop at this point.
Okay, thanks, Lee. And now we have Rebecca Cruiser, who is standing in for Joe Alati for the town of Mendon. Rebecca, what's happening in Mendon?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on, though you didn't have a choice in the matter. I am standing in for Joe, who's on vacation. I'm one of the newly elected town board members to the Mendon Town Board. And I have a few things that I'm going to talk about that I know most about while Joe's away. I want to start with some news from the Mendon Public Library. There's been a lot of great things happening there. First, I want to welcome our new library clerk, Julie Masterson-Smith. Many families in our community will recognize Julie as the recently retired librarian from Manor School. Julie was a beloved fixture at Manor for decades, and we're very fortunate to continue having her presence in our lives through the Mendon Public Library. So welcome, Julie. The library also received a grant a few months ago to install a new story walk, which is a series of pedestals that tell a story as you walk a path. And the plan is to create a small trail around the perimeter of the Dreisbach Park fields and start in the parking lot, end around the splash park, and children and families can walk that and read a story as they go. And the library is planning a grand opening for October 17th. That date is still a bit tentative, but it'll be around that time. And so you can keep your eye out for more information on that. I also just want to give a general shout out to the library director, Lila Grills, and really the entire board of trustees. I'm the library liaison for the town board. And I see up close how much work and how much heart they put into supporting the library and the programs they offer. Our library is really much more than just a place to check out books. It's a hub for learning, growing, sharing, connecting in our community. And we're so fortunate to have such a special place in our community and such dedicated people running it. I also want to spend a minute talking about the Climate Smart Communities Task Force, or the CSC Task Force, which is chaired by Peter Carosa. This is an 11-member task force that includes 2 town board members, myself and Kim Roberts, and our building inspector and code enforcement officer, Corey Gates, and a really great group of community volunteers. Our first goal with the task force is to achieve bronze certification. And the program works on a point system, so communities complete qualifying actions, document the work, and submit to the state for approval. And over the last several months, we've been identifying things that Mendon has already done that will qualify for points. And through that process, we've identified 18 actions and that we've already completed or almost completed, which totals, our estimates put us at 96 points for that. So now members have been assigned to these different actions, and they're taking responsibility for tracking down the needed documentation so that we could submit. So we need 120 points to get to bronze. We think we're at about 96, so we're making great progress. And that certification is really important because it improves the town's access to larger pools of funding for bigger, more substantial projects. Things that can help us reduce waste, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve our efficiencies, and better understand and address our vulnerabilities to things like extreme weather or other impacts of a changing climate. So I just want to say I've been personally incredibly impressed with Peter's leadership as the chair of the task force and of the Environmental Conservation Board for that matter. But he's been very effective at wrangling a large group of people to come to a common mission and divide up the work, and has really facilitated us to make some great progress. So I'm going to skip some things because I think I've been going on for close to 5 minutes at this point, and I'll just mention the urgent care project. And I just want to say that how grateful the town has been to the village and to the developers for listening to some of our concerns as it relates to the library and for negotiating different outcomes that have been really viewed very positively by the town and the library and the community overall. One of those negotiated points was to preserve the green space in front of the library, and in doing so, the developer offered to transfer ownership of that parcel of land to the town, so we can maintain it for green space. The town is just doing a little bit of due diligence on that parcel to make sure we understand what we would be receiving and make sure that we understand any financial, environmental, or other liabilities that we just really ought to be aware of before we receive that property. So it's adding a little bit of time to the process, but I do want to just emphasize we're doing due diligence. We're extremely grateful for the patience and the collaboration with the town and the developer and URMC. So that's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca, and thanks for being here.
Of course.
Next, we have John Cates, who has submitted something for me to read. So I will do that. John Cates, supervisor of the town of Lima, says, first of all, he apologizes for missing last week. He was out of town and wasn't able to meet the deadline. And he's got a lot of positive feedback from those of you who are Sentinel subscribers and readers. So he will continue to do his best to have something here on a weekly basis. He adds, the Crossroads Council deserves a huge pat on the back for yet another highly successful event. We had good weather, great music, and food vendors. So all the credit in the world goes to the folks who work on this for 12 months a year, putting this all together. This would be the Crossroads Festival, in case you were wondering. Thanks to all those in the community that volunteer and help pull this off. It was a great event for Lima. Now they will switch back into planning mode and as such could use any additional help throughout the year. Town happenings are not nearly as exciting, unfortunately. The board approved a grant application with Genesee Finger Lakes Regional Planning Council submitting on our behalf to update our joint village and town comprehensive plan. We also passed Resolution 35 of 2026, approving the town of Lima to become part of the ARP Age-Friendly Community Network. And here's what that resolution says. It says, whereas the town of Lima recognizes that residents of all ages contribute to the vitality, economic strength, and social fabric of our community. We are committed to fostering an environment where people can age actively, safely, and with dignity while remaining engaged in community life. As demographic trends indicate a growing older adult population, Lima understands the importance of proactively planning for the needs of current and future residents. That was the resolution passed by the Lima Town Board. In other news, Water District number 5 is still waiting on comments and approval on final design from various government agencies. Once that process is completed, we will continue an RFP and send it out to get quotes. In these types of projects, it is often easier to build it than it is to get all the paperwork done. If you have been by the old GCC building, you will see that Teach to Learn has been working diligently on that building and has updated the sign. So now we can't call it the old GCC building anymore. We're going to have to call it the new Tech to Learning building. And we are happy to have them. Pickleball facility next door is in progress as well. Looks like the site work and pad are ready to accept the building itself, so the area will look very different as we go into the fall. This is a great asset in the town, and we are lucky to have this type of investment from within our community, and I can't wait to see it completed and running strong. The Pumpkin Festival will be here before we know it, so stay tuned for updates on that as fall weather is right around the corner. So that is now our second reference to summer ending. Thanks, Lee, for starting that off. Rick, can you give us some hope that summer won't end? What's going on in Honeoye Falls?
Summer is not going to end. We have a lot of stuff still to come. So, Chris, thanks for having us all. As usual, it's always a pleasure to be here. This coming Tuesday, August 18th, at Harry Allen Park is the last scheduled Good Vibes Flowing concert for the year. We have the Paul Stroh Trio playing and have our local food truck, Say Cheese Please, there as well. It's going to be a great evening of music beginning at around 6 p.m. and the extended forecast looks fantastic. Bring your lawn chairs, and we also will have a very special presentation planned for that night. So please come out and enjoy, and I'm going to leave that as a tickler. So come out and see what that presentation is. We do have 2 concerts that were canceled during the course of the summer months due to the weather. We are still working to see if we can get these bands to reschedule, maybe into one larger event together. We'll see where that goes. This past week has been all about planning for this weekend that we're coming into and are in now. Our America 250 celebration Friday night and the festival at the Falls all day Saturday. The weather for these events could not have been better, and we really appreciate all the sponsors for these events. We appreciate the cooperation from our local businesses and to the town of Mendon, who supported the event by allowing us to use some electric connections out of the town hall for the band, etc. Our partnerships are always critical to everything we do, so we appreciate that. Just a couple of other quick things. All large-scale developments within the village are normally required to create a trail system. When I'm talking about large-scale developments, I'm talking about those developments that use a lot of land area, like Wolfsburger Park, the Copperfield project that's coming in front of us, those types of projects. We normally will require or ask the developers to create trail systems to enhance connectivity and walkability within the community. That's part of our Climate Smart Communities program as well, which we are expecting to get our bronze level this year. in this next award. We're hoping that that's going to happen. This past week, we actually walked Section 3 in Wolfsburger Park and laid out the new trail that is going to be put in. We're excited about that. We walked it with our couple of our conservation board members, and we think it's going to be a really nice trail. We're trying to make it not intrusive to the homes that were built there. I mean, some of the trails will be somewhat close, but it's going to be a nice system. And of course, it will bring us out to it will continue on out through to Main Street, and it will go into the new Copperfield development as well. So those are always very important to us. The last thing I wanted to mention today is I'm very happy to say and announce that the village is receiving another Sam's Grant Award, this one for $175,000. This is through Assemblymember Lunsford's office. Assemblymember Lunsford has been a great partner to me and to the village. Quite honestly, over the last 3 years now, this will be over just about $1 million in Sam's Grant that the village has been awarded. And we are going to set this money aside. We're very excited about this. We're going to set this money aside to rebuild, and we hope totally rebuild the Harry Allen Park Scout House. The Scout House has been, the original house was in the back of Harry Allen Park, or Allen Park at the time. It was moved to its present location and then added on to a couple of different times. It is in dire need of a lot of work, and we've been looking at it. We actually have an engineering team looking at that building from ground to roof. And we're going to earmark this $175,000 specifically for this building. And we're going to be working with the Scout group and the Scout House team to go through everything, and hopefully we can repair what's there and utilize what's there. But, when something is as old as it is and is in, poor shape as it is, sometimes you have to start from scratch as well. And we'll see where all that goes. But we're very excited about this. We're very appreciative of Assemblymember Lunsford and her partnership with the village. And we thank her for committing those funds to us once again. So that's what I have for this week, Chris. We look forward to getting back to a little bit of normalcy after a couple of these major events are finished this weekend, and appreciate the opportunity. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Rick. And we'll remind everyone that Troop 10, who uses that Scout House, is one of the oldest Boy Scout troops in the country. And speaking of Boy Scouts, up next, Tim Sheevan. Tim, what's going on in West Bloomfield? Okay, Tim, I know you like to talk, but we need to hear you, so unmute yourself.
There, now you can get the audio with the movement of my lips.
Yes.
Yeah, so I am a pretty old Boy Scout. I am still an active Scout leader. I am a commissioner at large for the Seneca Waterway Council. So applause to you, Rick, and your support for Troop 10. What a great outfit. You got some great members there. A couple members of my community are members there. And I've always worked very well with Troop 10. They sent a couple people over to help us this year at the Men and Firemen's Carnival. That was great. We had some nice youths and some parents helping us out there. So anyways, let's get back to my outline here. The song Getting to Know You goes through my head right now because that's where I'm at. I'm getting to know my board members. I'm getting to know my job. I'm getting to know quite a bit. People are getting to know me. They're getting to know my leadership style, my demeanor, my methods. Hopefully they find me an effective communicator, and that's one of the benefits of this platform. So thank you, Chris, and my fellow supervisors and mayors. This is a fantastic opportunity for all of us, and I think it's great. I'm also kind of cautious, right? Because I don't know everything, and I need to learn a lot of things, and that's what we need to do when we're in charge, is stay alert, stay aware. Switching gears, what's going on with our town board? We had a fantastic town board meeting this week, our Wednesday night meeting. We've got a final town logo. So get on our West Bloomfield town website. You can see the logo we've finally chosen amongst a nice variety of choices. That's going to hopefully adorn quite a bit. Our letterhead, our business cards. Maybe I'll be like that Moffat fellow and get some golf shirts with it embroidered on my chest there. I'll make sure I'm not wearing the shirt when that happens. Our solar law, we've got that back from our attorney. Our solar law now is getting a second review by our town board members, Thompson and Mulhern. And once they've had an opportunity to look at it, make some adjustments, we're going to put that out into the public realm. I'll let our public get in here and comment on it, and then we'll implement that into our town code. Our budget, we're beginning of the budget season. This is the first one for me. A big learning curve. I got to get my head around how the budget process works, how we get that budget organized and completed. So we began deliberation on some of those topics at our town board meeting. Public comment time. Our public comment time is finally calming down. And this last board meeting, we only had 1.5 public comments. One gentleman stepped up to the lectern and spoke his mind, town resident, a fellow I've known for a long, long time. His mom was actually my Cub Scout den leader when I was a wolf cub in Pack 105 in Mendon. This particular gentleman came forward, thanked us for some of our actions, brought some more information to light. He's affected by one of our projects. We got some aging trees that lead into our Prouty Park that's adjacent to this fellow's property. We've signed a contract to a bidder for that, so that's going to be taken care of. I want to thank Shane Caffo, a young man from our community who puts our town board meetings up on a YouTube platform, so anybody that wants to watch our town board meetings can do so. And then the last but not least, we are working on a moratorium. We enacted a 6-month moratorium on special use permits, and our planning board is working well ahead on that. I'm working on that because I don't want this moratorium to extend beyond 6 months. If I can do it, I want to wrap this thing up here in the next 30, 60, or 90 days. We just got some minor adjustments to do on that. Segue into the planning board. We've got a full planning board. For that matter, we have a full zoning board. We're a week away from selecting and employing a full-time code enforcement officer. So we've made some fantastic progress here in the community of West Bloomfield. The performance of our planning board is stellar. It's improved. We've got a diverse group of members on our planning board. We've got a couple of engineers. We got an educator. We've got a seasoned veteran at the helm. And they, in my opinion, they do a great job, and they're very considerate and they're very accommodating to our applicants. So I'd like to see that cooperation. We have continued interest from numerous residents. I've got 2 residents that would like to be considered for the planning board. So I think you're going to see our town board put a referendum through and, a resolution through to add an alternate to our planning board. So rather than a person waiting in the wings, we can have this person in the room working with the planning board, interacting, being part of the discussion. And that's going to, eliminate that gap when somebody decides they've got other things to do, or they resign, or they move, and now we're caught in a lurch without a planning board member. So I think that's going to work to our advantage. And interestingly enough, the 2 people that are interested are past members of the planning board who find they have a little more time now that they're retired or they're doing other things. So how nice to have a candidate that's already fully versed with the methodology behind what a planning board member does. We're going to move ahead again, and I want to thank the Mendon Fire Department. They hosted a gracious evening at the OK Brewing Company over there in Honeoye Falls for us volunteers that volunteer with the fire carnival each year. Got a great opportunity to have some great food, have some great beverages. The folks over there at the former Bronco Bowl do a super job. The food was out of this world, and the selection of food was good. And I got a lot of fantastic comments from members of the community, members of the fire department. One for, obviously being a dedicated volunteer for a long, long time there at the Firemen's Carnival. As a kid growing up in that community, obviously it has a real soft spot in my heart. But I also got a lot of feedback from people that know I'm the town supervisor over here in West Bloomfield now, and had some nice conversation with those people, and got some great ideas. And again, it was just wonderful to have that communication. And then, in keeping with the theme today and some of the comments made by some of the other supervisors, I really wanted to end my segment this way. Anybody recognize that one?
No.
It's All Summer Long by the Beach Boys, baby.
Oh, we can't hear
And
the
with-
music. That's all right. If we
And with
played
that-
the music, if you played the music, YouTube would probably shut this thing down because of copyright violations.
And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. And we got cruise night, Mendon Village Commons on August 27th. Come on down. It's a great time. We got lots of cool cars. That's the plug.
Okay.
See you next time.
Okay, Bob Barker. All right. Thank you. Anybody else have anything to say or to add? I don't think so, but thank you all for being here, and thank you all for watching. Remember, this program airs every Sunday at 1 p.m. on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And all you need to do is like the page and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified by those platforms when the programs begin. Otherwise, you could read the transcript in next week's paper. That's all for now. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You.
Thank you.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.